So here we are, US Open Snowboard Championships 2015. The crowd are waiting with a collected bated breath for the first of 10 riders here. 3 runs, the best run will count for the men. And at the end of the day, we will be crowning a champion. Somebody will be going home the Burton US Open Snowboard Champion of the world here in Vail, Colorado. Live pictures you are watching, and this man, the Canadian, 19 years of age, Tyler Nicholson, will be first to drop, Tom.
This kid put on a clinic on his second and final run in semifinals. We had a rider named Chaz Goldemond who was sitting on that bubble spot in 10th place, right? Just about to get bumped out of finals, and Tyler dropped in. He was the 4th to last rider, and he put down the run of his life and made it into the finals. All right, so bib number 10, Tyler Nicholson, coming out of Canada, dropping in. Watch this kid on the rails. Board slide to switch front side board slide. And there is a switch front side 180 onto the rail, 180 off. And look at that backside rodeo off of the Cannon pyramid rail. And Tyler opts to hit the mini feature straight over like a jump, cab 1080. That switch stance, spinning front side, 3 full rotations. Tyler Nicholson is on autopilot right now. He is putting it all together and setting the bar. Front side, 1440 from Tyler Nicholson. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the finals.
Oh my goodness, what a way to start things off. Tyler ripping the lid off things. Well, that's what you've got to do. We spoke about it in the women's. You said it's so important for these guys to come and put a solid run down, get a score on the board.
It is, absolutely. It's important for the riders in the field, but it's also important for the judges because it gives the judges a chance to gauge what is about to happen. So if a rider comes down and puts down a really good run, the judges will then basically give them a score that sets the tone for the entire final. So it's great that Tyler Nicholson landed his run, both for him and for the event itself.
Switch backside 12. He's done 1080, 1260, 1440. Talk about adding it on with every jump. Here's this 1440 front side, so he shows his front to the landing first. He grabs Mew, and he absolutely, if you want to get a protractor out, that was exactly 1440 degrees. It couldn't
have been more precise. And if you watch the rider's head when they're spinning a lot in this slow motion, watch their eyes, because they're not just closing their eyes and blindly spinning. Every time they make a full rotation, they're spotting the landing. It's an athletic instinct, really, is what it is, to know where they are in the air and how much time they have before they hit the landing.
Well, 77.2 for Tyler Nicholson, sees him in first place at the moment as all eyes go back to the top to welcome the first of our Scandinavians from Norway, Mons Roisland, just 18 years of age.
All right, Mons, have some fun, buddy.
Yeah. And we hear there the start marshal giving him the have some fun, buddy. And that's what it's all about here, the sun shining. And you know what, regardless of what takes place, a lot of these riders will be having a lot of fun.
And what Mons Roisland is capable of here is really shocking the world and introducing himself to the snowboard world. That is one of the biggest things the US Open has done over the years, is invited new riders who not many people have heard of. They've finished well, and that has jump-started their career. It's a diving board to professional snowboarding.
Well, switch 1080 to start things off into a switch backside 1080.
That is one of the most technical jump tricks that you can do, a switch backside 1080.
And he's reverted it round. Really weird choice. He must have in his brain he must have had a trick on that last jump in his mind, and he couldn't roll with the punches. Whether he meant to do a switch backside 10, I don't know.
I'm not quite sure, but it looked like something was off there in the flat bottom, and he kind of got thrown off on the jump before. Look at this, switch backside, spinning 270 degrees onto the rail, 270 off. It's a trick that's completely blind, and the judges will definitely give him the points he deserves for that rail section.
So there's the switch 1080, that's 3 full rotations. We'll do our best to keep moms and dads up to speed. We do know that the snowboard trick list reads a little bit like a Slovakian cocktail menu at times, and it can be a little bit difficult to keep up with. So me and Tom will do our best to keep you up to speed with things. We know there's a lot of kids out there that will know exactly what we're talking about, but the 1440 wallop
And to see how far snowboarding has come, a 1440 now looks like a 1080. And I remember the first time I saw a 1080, I didn't think it could go further than that.
Yeah.
And I think the first people that saw a 720 didn't think it could go further than that.
Well, Mons will have it all to do on his second and third runs. It is perfection that will win these events. No hand drags, no reverts, no spins. It's got to be on point. As we go back to the top, from Japan, Yuki Kodono.
This kid is unbelievable. Watching him snowboard, picture having a remote control, like a game controller in your hand, and it's like watching a video game. Some of the things he does are just superhuman. Coming off a really big win at the Aaron Style in Los Angeles, the Shaun White Aaron Style. That was his first major victory on U.S. soil. He's looking to make a second right now. Switch backside 270 on, 270 off, and then board slide on the top of that rail, atop the pyramid. Switch front side 180, 180 off that rail. He's hitting that mini feature straight over. Switch backside 1260, unbelievable. And then a front side 1080 double cork. Look at the ease in which this kid snowboards. And then there it is, the backside 1440 triple cork. That was unbelievable. Listen to that crowd. He overshot the sweet spot of that landing by about 20 feet.
Oh my goodness, the 1440 was absolutely ridiculous. He spanned so fast, 4 full rotations. He created his own gravitational force and actually pulled the earth up to meet him. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Now what's going to be really interesting to see is because he went so big on that last jump, he did bobble a little bit in the landing, but it's by no fault of his mechanics. It's because he took too much speed into the jump. So I'm interested to see where the judges are going to score Yuki Kodono on that third and final jump.
He's fired the warning shot across the bow of every other rider that's watching this screen at the top. They're all in that start hut. They'll have seen what Yuki's put down here, and they'll be thinking, oh no.
Now keep an eye on his head. Look at him, spot the landing there, there, and there. He gets 3 separate looks at the landing while traveling about 70 to 80 feet through the air at about 40 miles an hour.
How did his head not come off? That was absolutely ridiculous. Well, if you've just tuned in, you're witnessing the best snowboarding on the planet right now. 45 points. The judge is almost scared.
That has to be first place.
79.4. It is. Wow.
So Yuki Kodono, your new leader, and you know that all the other riders, Torstein Horgmo, Ståle Sandbeck, Sven Thorgren, Mark McMorris, are looking down and saying, he landed that run and got a 79.4. The judges are being very critical, as they should.
Do you think they're scared at this point? Do you think the judges are thinking, hang on, we can't go out too far, we can't set it out too far?
What Yuki Kodono just did is one of the best runs I've ever seen on a slopestyle course, and he's only the 3rd rider to drop. We got about 27 more runs after this.
I think that was a little harsh. Well, there's the riders. You see Sven there throwing out the shakas. And the crowd here in Colorado basking in the glorious sunshine. It really is a phenomenal day.
Vail has some of the best weather on Earth. If it's not absolutely hammering snow, it's bluebird and warm just like this.
Well, this is Rope Tonteri, the world champion. This is from the semi-finals. Bit of a shock result because actually Rope won. He won the European Open in 2012, was it, or 2011? Right. Back in the day, in his first ever major contest that he entered. And he really is a wizard on a snowboard, this boy.
And he just couldn't seem to put it down. It was a big shocker that Rope Tonteri is not in the finals. At any world-class slopestyle event, you expect to see Rope in the top 10 and riding in the finals. Here's where things went wrong.
Very right. Cab 1440.
That was incredible, and he just didn't have the score that it was.
I mean, can we get real? Can somebody?
So we see a replay. This is the shock. Our shock of the pick, our pick of the shocks, we should say, was the non-qualification of Ropeton Terry. And you've got to say, I don't know what let him down really in there, because that switch 1440 was absolutely dictionary definition perfect.
Yeah, it was a great run. It just didn't all come together for him in the eyes of the judges. You see there on that frontside 720, he misses the grab. Yeah, and nowadays to think that a run like that won't get you into the finals.
A 1260 into a 1440. Well, Jack is up at the top. He was with the riders as they watched Yuki. Jack, how's the mood up there? How is it?
That is right. I was just watching that run from the riders' tent with the riders, and I got to say, wow, there was some pandemonium and loud cheering going on. Quote from Mark McMorris, no one up here could have landed that with the way how far he went. And to be honest, he has more up his sleeve. He can do a backside triple 1620, a switch triple backside 1620, so more to come from Yuki Kodono. And all these riders are absolutely nervous up here. Sending it back down to you guys.
It's nice to have a bit of an inside tip from the boy up there.
It really is. And the thing with Jack being up there, he's got the camaraderie. He was a professional snowboarder for so long, so he already knows the riders. There's no awkward introduction. He's already embedded into the scene, so that is an official insider's point of view up there every time we throw to Jack.
There on camera, you're live across the world. If you're just joining us, a very massive hello and welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you are watching via Red Bull TV, it's a big hello as we welcome our next rider into this finals for the first of three, Erik Boscheman.
Erik is definitely an underdog. He is one of those riders who doesn't consistently make the finals, but when he does, he knows he has to put it all on the line. We were saying earlier, it's like a game of poker here.
He's down already.
He's already a little nervous, can't stay on his feet. But we were saying, Tim, it's like a game of poker. You got to know when to fold, and you got to know when to go all in. And Erik Boscheman is going all in, 450-degree rotation onto that rail, the only rider that's been doing it all day today.
And a huge 360 tail grab. Well, I'd slow down a little bit if I were you. He's hit the sweet spot absolutely perfect into this penultimate jump. Big backside 1260.
Erik
Gets the landing gear down.
Wow, Erik Boscheman is putting a run together. Switch frontside 1440 from Erik Boscheman. This is already one of the best finals that I have ever seen, Tim.
What on earth are they feeding them up there in that start gate?
Unbelievable. Look at Erik Boscheman. He will score high for this. Cab 450. It's basically like a 540-degree rotation interrupted by a down rail.
The hard way, frontside 270. Hard way means you approach the rail from the harder side as opposed to taking the easier option.
That's right. You have to ollie over the rail. You have that risk of catching your board on the rail and falling really hard. It's very consequential.
Frontside 1080, 3 full rotations, bobbles a little, punches the snow with his hands. Backside 1260, 3.5 rotations. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3.5. Works hard to get that last half spin round, and then this. Tom, brilliant.
Unbelievable. Taking off switch, spinning 4 complete times, and landing switch. Now, he did go a little sideways in the landing of that jump. Doesn't seem to affect him. He got a 9 out of 10 on that last feature. Will it beat Yuki Kodono? It will not.
Nice work, man.
My goodness. 71.7.
We have 10 riders here.
Okay, I think Trisha's managed to grab a quick chat with him down at the bottom.
Yeah, Erik Boscheman putting down that 1440. The level of riding is high here in finals.
Yeah, that was actually the first 1440 I've ever tried, so that was just cool as it is right there. But yeah, I'm just happy to be out here riding with everyone else. It's awesome.
All right, thanks, Bosch.
Well, do you think the fact that the riders can see what's happening? We've just heard from Erik Boscheman that that's the first one he's ever done.
That
first
is
one he's ever tried, and he stomped it.
We have riders learning tricks here in the finals. That is unbelievable. On course now, we got Sepe Schmitz. Sepe definitely known as more of a jumper than a rail rider. He can hold his own on the rails, but he is without a doubt a jumper. That's where he makes his money. Switch tail slide 270. And then a switch backside 12, and he bobbles just a little bit. And look at that. Look at how close the landing of the jump is to the takeoff of the next jump. That's where, when you said earlier, Tim, you have to do things perfectly if you want to win this event. If you have to do things perfectly if you want to hit all of the jumps.
Switch method. Could that arguably be the hardest trick we'll see today? Switch straight M.
That is one of my favorite tricks that I've seen here today, without a doubt, from semifinals and into finals. So here is the backside 270 on and then 270 off. This is a really interesting way to hit that feature. He's opting not to hit any of the rails, but instead to hit the wall ride. So switch tail slide 270 out. And now let's see what happened here. Switch backside 1260. Look at him spotting that landing, and he just could not slow his upper body from continuing that rotation.
Obviously.
So Sepe Schmitz has 2 more runs to get up into the top 3. Now remember, this is finals. There's no more qualifications. You want first, second, or third. That's all you should settle for if you're in this top 10.
First only.
That's right.
Everybody else is just losing. No, that's harsh. That is harsh. They're all winners just to make to the final, judging by the semis that we saw.
Just making it into the top 10 at the US Open slopestyle, you can put that on a resume with confidence.
Blue steel from Nicholas Mattsson there, 22 years of age, coming out of Sweden. This kid, for me, one of the standouts from Sochi. However, those trousers, when we heard Jack earlier on, they're quite wild, aren't they, those things?
Yeah, it's a bit of a new style that some of the younger kids are trying to make happen. So look at this, switch frontside 360. That is much more difficult than sliding a rail sideways. Make no mistake about it. So switch board slide 270. Look at the control this kid has over his lower body. And there he is, the first rider to hit it like a hip, and he goes too big. He took off too close to the knuckle off that quarter pipe, and it just was not timed properly. So Nicholas Mattsson is gonna throw this run away, but let's see what he's got on that third and final jump. Pretty much a practice jump for him there.
Yeah.
Frontside 1080, but he washes it out, and he is gonna have to wait till his second or third run to get up into that top 3. Now that's something to think about too, Tim. You have all this adrenaline going. You are so amped up. If you don't put your run down, you're gonna wait about 20-25 minutes. You're gonna get cold.
Yeah.
These guys want to go over and over and over. That's what they're used to doing. So it does take a certain type of mentality to be a competitive snowboarder. You have to be patient. You have to know when to wait, and you also have to have what we call the switch. You got to know when to turn it on and to turn it off.
Yep. Switch, board slide 270 out, so a complete switch run.
Yeah,
on that
through the
section.
rails.
Yeah, and this double cork 900, he has struggled with this actually, hasn't he? In the qualifications, in the semis, he didn't quite get the grab as clean as he would have liked.
And you can see when he's at his peak, he understands that he's going to go too far. So what he does is he opens his body up to slow the rotation. That's the air awareness that it takes. You know, that's what we were talking about.
Kinesthesis.
Right there.
Good job, Nicholas Mattsson. Run 2 for you though, buddy. Torstein Horgmo, fellow countryman. No, excuse me, he's from Norway, not Sweden. 28 years of age. Get there in the end. However, a good showing at the European Open a few weeks ago.
You got third place right behind Ståle Sandbeck and Mark McMorris, who took first and second respectively. The interesting thing about Torstein Horgmo, this is the man who arguably kicked off the progression of freestyle snowboarding in the park. He was the first rider ever to land a triple cork. He did a front side triple cork 1080, I'm sorry, in 2006, released it on YouTube, million+ hits.
Yeah.
It just went wild.
Look at that, that's that. Oh my goodness, to stop that rotation, to just defy physics. You've got physics doctors across the world scratching their heads at how he does that. What a run thus far from the Norwegian. Opens up a little early, lets go of the grab. Hard on the brakes into this bottom jump, doesn't want to overshoot it.
Look at him open up. Sometimes Torstein Horgmo's riding is simply indescribable.
Yeah.
That is so hard to put into context what he just did.
We were holding our breath there.
I think on that last jump he was going for a triple cork and he opened up, but watch this. See how he ollies over the rail. He's going switch 270 degrees, but then he stops and reverses his entire position of his body and brings it back to his regular stance of riding. That is, on that first rail, the best trick we've seen on that rail all day.
Yeah, amazing stuff from Torstein for sure. Here's this alley-oop switch backside 900.
And look at how far back on the quarter pipe he's taking off. Unbelievable, and he's redirecting the trajectory of which way he's going.
Frontside 10 double corks. He opens up, lets a little bit early, but he gets the landing gear down. The hands go nowhere near the snow.
And this looks like the way he unwound it, he was going to try a triple cork. See him open up, slow his rotation. He knew something wasn't right.
Nice work.
That's going to hurt him. 3.9 out of 10 on feature 6. But look toward Torstein Horgmo for a second or third run. This guy's a video star. He's a contest star. He can ride in the backcountry. He can ride in the streets. He can ride in contests. He really can do it all.
And the eldest rider at 28 years of age here. He seems like he's been around forever, doesn't he?
Henry, what's going on out there?
Unbelievable. Torstein Horgmo putting on a show here at the US Open.
Burton US Open presented by Mini.
And I think, well, we see the flags flapping. I don't know whether the wind's picked up a little bit, but we've got Trisha down at the bottom now, and she should be grabbing Torstein.
Torstein down here. So on that last jump, we're wondering, were you going for the triple cork on that and just going a little large on it, or just going super large?
No, it's just kind of hard to gauge the speed with the headwind right now. Feels like you're going slower, but it's not. And then I just had to chill, open up. Just really, really harsh landings.
Yeah. So with a 3-run final, what are you going to be looking to do in the next 2 runs?
Just try to clean it up. Yeah, I'm not going to try to, I don't think I'm going to try to kill myself today. It was, yeah, like, course is fun, rails are awesome, but the landings are just too flat to send it right now.
All right, well, thanks. Get back up there.
Right on.
Well, interesting there from Torstein. Say the landings are flat. I mean, we saw Yuki Kodono absolutely come out of the heavens and just put it straight to bolts. And I mean, he did well to stand up, but yeah, maybe a few riders, if they do go too big, do go too deep, maybe the landings are a little heavy, but I don't know. I think we've seen some incredible riding, to be honest.
Absolutely, and I think if you're Yuki Kodono, you got those 18-year-old knees on you. That's a lot less harsh. Those kids are made of elastic these days.
Maybe that's what it is for Torstein, because he's 28. Perhaps his knees ache a little bit more.
He's been doing it for a very long time. He has been sending it off of jumps like this for just about a decade. There is the middle portion of the rail section. This is the 2015 Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships presented by Mini. We have 3 riders left to drop. Tim, who are those 3?
Well, Starley Sandbeck, Sven Thorgren, and Mark McMorris, the defending champion, qualifying there in first position with a masterclass of snowboarding, you've got to say. But I don't think this is over yet. Sven Thorgren from that semi-finals, I think, I don't know, I think maybe he could have got a few more points in my eyes. I don't know. It's just, I think we've got loads to come. I don't think Mark McMorris is home and dry just yet. Right, up to the top, because Jack has got a man in charge of the US snowboard team. Jack.
Can we just do fun stuff?
All right, I'm up here right now with US Snowboard team coach Bill Enos. Bill, what do you think so far?
These guys are throwing down. The audience is going to be stoked, and we're not even through first run. There's some amazing riding going on.
Absolutely. And what kind of advice do you give the riders now watching the contest? I mean, when they get back up after their first run, do you have some good advice that you give them?
I think generally once they make finals, they're just throwing down and they're kind of going with it and what they feel. Like, if that's the first run, wait for 2 and 3. It's going to be nuts. And usually I'm taking a nap, so I don't really see much of it. I'm getting kind of old. Yeah.
Wise words from Bill Enos, US snowboard coach. Send it back down to you guys.
That is good.
Bill is a character. I used to work for that man back in the day. He is a funny guy, but make no mistake about it, he is incredibly talented. Coached the U.S. slopestyle men's team to a gold medal at the Sochi Olympics with Sage Kotzenberg. The man's got himself quite a resume, so always nice to hear from Bill. He knows exactly what's going on up there with Jack in the riders' tent.
You also look down through the field of the entire men, the start list from earlier on, and he's got a good field of youngsters, up-and-coming youngsters to work with as well.
He really does. The U.S. is making a huge push right now with their snowboard program. It seems as right now with Mark McMorris and Sebastian Touton, and then you look at, Torstein Horgmo and, Sven Thorgren, some of those European countries and Canada are making a huge push in slopestyle, and the U.S. kind of fell back there for a little bit. We fell behind, and so they're trying to make up ground for that. That's what Bill is for.
There we go. All right, well, live pictures here from Vail, Colorado. Tim Warwood and Tom Monterosso here in the commentary booth. Our field reporter, Mr. Jack Matrani, at the top, and the next man to drop. Do not look into those eyes, ladies and gentlemen. You will be paralysed. That is a stare that could help Red rise. Starley Sandbach at 21 years of age. A goofy rider. He rides with his right foot forward, but like riding with your left hand, moms and dads, he can ride switch. He can ride with that left foot forward. It ups the degree of difficulty in the eyes of the judges, and it also makes for impressive snowboarding in our eyes. So Sven, Starley Sandbach, excuse me, coming out of Oslo, switch into this first rail.
Cab 270 on, 270 off, and that is very unlike Ståle Sandbach.
Well,
I have not seen him do that in a very long time. He's going to continue on with his run, but I'll tell you right now, this is the U.S. Open Finals. Oh my, Ståle Sandbach going to the moon. I think he might have just had to. I think he might have just had to refer to the FAA,
really,
to make sure he was in regulation for flying that high above Vail.
Oh my goodness! Scratch everything, ladies and gentlemen. We have a final on our hands. Starley Sandbach, the Burton European Open champion, the Air and Style World Tour champion, arguably one of the finest snowboarders. Well, no, he is the finest snowboarder right now. Has fallen twice in his run here in the finals. One run of three. He's going to be relying on runs 2 and 3 to get it done. But let's just enjoy this absolutely astronomical double crippler.
Watch the amplitude. Look at the cameraman. He almost went out of the cameraman's frame. He had to pan up because Ståle goes so big. And here in the middle of his run, this is usually his finishing move on the last jump. Backside triple cork 1440, 3 full rotations, 3 full flips.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
And now, if you're Sven Thorgren and you're Mark McMorris, you're kind of hyped.
You're rubbing your hands at the top right now, aren't you?
Absolutely. This is time for those guys to bury the sword in the stone, so to speak.
And we can see Trisha down there. She's got Starley. Let's find out what the steely Norwegian is thinking. Trisha?
All right, Sally, going down that first run, so nerve-wracking, but putting the triple cork in there, what are you looking for second?
Yeah, I mean, just cleaning it up and landing, I kind of got 20 years old. I was stuck on the first rail, couldn't get the 270 around good, and kind of just, it was done then, but I just figured I would try a few tricks and tried to go big on the quarter pipe, so still got 2 more runs. Just got to get up there and try them out.
All right, well, rider on course. This is Sven Thorgren. Oh, beautiful. That 270 out of that rail. Oh, look at the grab. What even was that? Nose roast beef?
Just wait for that slow motion. That's where you're really going to get to enjoy the small little details of Sven Thorgren's riding. If Mark McMorris and Ståle Sandbach are holding the torch, this kid is set to take it in the next year or two. Sven Thorgren, one of the most foremost up-and-comers in slopestyle riding today. Unfortunately, could not put it down on that last jump, but he's got 2 more to look forward to. Now, it looks like some of the riders are having a little trouble with this. Maybe the landing's a little icy or a little solid, but they're kind of reverting around, and that is not what Sven wanted to do. And in slopestyle, you have a run, and you know how that run goes, and if anything is out of whack, it messes up the entire run for you.
Beautiful switchboard slide with the 270 out. Look at this.
Watch this. Both hands, one through the legs grabbing his heel edge, the other on the nose. Unbelievable.
It's worth noting he can't use his arms there to initiate the spin. Everything is done on the takeoff there in order to get that round for the whole jump.
Exactly.
Incredible stuff from Sven. And this backside 14, well, I think he went as big as Yuki, but he couldn't hold it and just collapses into his high backs.
And that's a trick that I had never even seen Sven try until I saw Stale land it. So in essence, a lot of times when you're on top like Stale and Mark McMorris, you're also creating your own worst enemy, because those are the guys that are looking up to you. You're not looking up to anybody. You are setting the pace, and they're creating kids like Sven Thorgren right there.
Right, riddle me this then. What is Mark McMorris thinking right now?
Right now, Mark McMorris is thinking, I want to put down the best run I possibly can. I want to be in first place, and I want to make everybody else play catch up. Mark my words, that's what he's going to try to do. I spoke to him right before the final started, and he said he hopes to get this thing done in just a couple of runs.
Really? Well, here we go. Here's the Canadian's chance to turn the thumb screws on the field. What has he got? We know he's got absolutely everything and anything that he wants. This is a man with more natural talent in his fingers than the entire country of Lithuania. Oh my goodness, everything he does is just so easily done.
And now will he go back to back? This morning in women's finals, we saw Jamie Anderson win her second consecutive US Open slopestyle title. Can Mark McMorris do the same? He was your champion last year.
Cab 99 out of the mini feature into the penultimate jump. Front side double 10.
He looks on right now. He looks on.
Is this the triple?
It's got to be.
Yeah,
backside 1440 triple cork. Oh, he lands it as clean as you can land it. And ladies and gentlemen, without jumping the gun, unofficially, take a look at your new leader.
Oh,
and he knows it.
Goodness gracious. It's a run that could quite literally bring about world peace. Take that to the G8 summit and make all of the world leaders watch that. Absolutely phenomenal snowboarding.
This kid's talent cannot be overstated. Mark my words, he is unbelievable at riding a snowboard. Look at this front side 270 coming out regular. Now he comes into that third and final rail feature. Front side board slide, 450-degree rotation out of that, so he lands switch. So now he's coming into this first jump feature, the mini feature, off the quarter pipe, switch off his toes. If that goes wrong, there are catastrophic consequences.
Here's this front side double cork, 1080, goes upside down twice there again, you see. Really upside down for that last 360 almost, and then into this final jump, Tom.
This is just the Mark McMorris show. This is what the crowd came to see. This is probably what a lot of you are tuning in to see, and you just saw it. Mark McMorris, the kid is amazing.
Well, he's had the highest trick score of the day, 49.4, 86, and new leader. Run one, done and dusted here at the Burton US Open Championship, and it's gone the same way as the semis, with Canadian Mark McMorris topping the leaderboard.
And here's the thing about Mark McMorris. He has more gas in the tank. He's got other runs if he falls out of that first place spot.
I think Tricia has got him right there at the bottom.
Mark McMorris in the top.
All right, Mark McMorris putting down the best run of round one. How important is it to you to do that right now?
Oh, that is, like we've talked about, I love the first run, making it happen then. That was the first triple I've tried since I've been here, so that felt good to get that. And it was weird, all the other guys were falling like on random things, and I was a little nervous, but it worked out, so I'm super hyped.
All right, super hyped. And what are you going to do round two now?
I don't know, just try and keep it clean like that run, and maybe step something up if I need to.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Well, let's take a look at the standings after run one. It is worth remembering, as good as that run was, and I know we don't want to jump the gun here, but we have 3 runs. I can't even get my words out. I'm absolutely blown away. Let's take a look at the high scores from each feature. The winner, as you said it earlier on, Tom, Torstein Hogmo with that switch backside hard weight 270 on. Moms and dads, it's just a really difficult trick. Kids, it's down, down, L2 triangle on your PlayStation pads. But look at that, 9.7. It's going to be hard to best that.
And then take a look at the other rail features here. Nicholas Matson gap to switch front side board slide. That is a trick that you would see when someone was filming a video part in the streets. And Nicholas Matson brought that to the competitive format. Kudos to you. Sepe Schmitz in second, cab 360 to wall ride. And then Mark McMorris in that top 3, front side 270 on. So just judging by the first 2 rail features, Tim, it's pretty obvious that Mark McMorris made up a lot of points on those jumps.
Yeah. Feature 3, well, there we go, Mark McMorris. He does take it, that cannon kind of up rail, shooting him out there with that front side board slide, 450 out, landing fakie, setting him up perfectly for feature number 4. Tyler Nicholson there, second place, and Sven Thorgren in third on feature 3. Feature number 4, Sven Thorgren, that 1260 nose grab roast beef. It is worth noting, if you are watching this on Red Bull TV a little bit later on, you can rewind and you can actually pull out the runs that you want and email them to your friends. If you want to see that cab 1260 again, it will be available at Red Bull TV.
Then, of course, the double crippler by Ståle Sandbeck. He went so big, I couldn't believe it.
Feature number 5 then, Tom.
The backside triple cork 1440 by Ståle Sandbeck. As we said earlier, that's usually his finishing move. He usually saves that for the final jump because that jump is 1, the biggest, and 2, leaves the last impression on the judges, which will help your flow score. But look at that, the American Eric Boschman, backside 1260 in second place on that second jump.
And finally, into the 6th and final feature, the 3rd jump. Mark McMorris, there it is, the backside triple cork 1440.
And look at that, Mark McMorris and Ståle Sandbeck on jumps 5 and 6 have the same trick. They also have the high score. Look at that rivalry continue.
Oh. Well, Jack's at the top, and I think he's got Ståle Sandbeck. Jack.
I think you're absolutely right. I am with Ståle Sandbeck. Ståle, we just saw you kind of mess up a little bit on that first rail. Can you take us through what happened there?
I guess I just didn't put in the rotation. I didn't turn my head when I landed on the rail, so the 270 off got pretty like sticky and didn't really get it around with full control. So got a butt check, kept riding, and just tried out some tricks. Tried to go big on that quarter pipe. It's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun. And speaking of sticky, I mean, does it make it a little bit more nervous for you going into run number 2, or is it nice because this format has 3 runs?
I mean, it's worse in the semifinals. You're more nervous then because then you have to make it. Now it's just like all in, you know, either or. So we'll see how it goes.
And after watching Mark just put down that run, is that going to change up your strategy, or are you going to try to land that run that we just saw you do?
I mean, I didn't do my full run now, so I'm going to do the run I planned originally. I already knew that Mark was going to do that run, so we'll see. We'll see if we can do something with that.
Absolutely. Well, good luck, Ståle. One of the most handsome snowboarders in the entire world. Sending it back to you guys, back in the booth.
You did very well not to fall in love there, Jack. I'm not going to lie. He's a good-looking dude. Ståle Sandbeck with it all to play for going into the second runs, which start right now with this man, Mr. Tyler Nicholson, the Canadian coming out of North Bay, just 19 years of age, currently sitting in 3rd place.
This would be a gigantic step for Tyler Nicholson's snowboard career if he could get podium at the US Open. So he's going to have to step it up. And he is front side 270 on, 270 off. Watch this kid on the rails. He's technical. He's in control. He knows good rail riding. 50-50 backside rodeo. And now he's hitting this 3rd jump straight over. Oh, Tyler Nicholson is putting it down, setting up for switch backside. This is going to be a 1260.
Oh my goodness!
And he holds on. I hope the judges reward him for holding on to that. And there is a frontside 14. I think the landing of that last jump is going to hurt him a little bit, but I think it's safe to say that is the run of Tyler Nicholson's life. And if you'll notice, that VIP tent that's off to the left when they're riding out of that last jump, those guys are getting sprayed down with snow every single run. I think it's a game to the snowboarders
yeah,
now.
I do. I think, well, it's like going to Waterworld expecting not to get wet, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Are you going to mess with the bull, you'll get the horns. Sit right down there. Well, good work from the young Canadian. You've got to say, cab 14.
So he has
4 full rotations.
2 1440s in his run and a switch backside 1260. A switch backside spin, oh, they're not going to show it, but a switch backside spin, you're taking off opposite your natural stance and you're spinning blind. You're basically throwing your body backwards 70 feet through the air to the landing.
Well, look at that, 41.7 with 2, well, you'd call dodgy landings, really. If he could tidy that run up, I don't know.
That could be in the 80s, absolutely. So far, the only rider to crack the 80 mark is Mark McMorris. So Tyler Nicholson, now he's kind of in the pressure cooker.
Yeah.
He's got 1 run left. He's got to sit around for about 25 minutes and wait for that run, but he's got to make it count.
Coming out of Norway, Mons Roysland, currently in 7th position. He needs a 77.2 or higher in order to make it onto that podium and to take home some silverware, bronzeware, goldware. Starting things off with that switch, 270 off.
The 270s seem to be the trick of choice for a lot of these riders on those first 2 rail features. And a cab 1080 from Mons Roysland on the first jump. The young Norwegian stringing it together. You hear the camera shutter snapping from the photographer. He's getting gold out there.
He got that.
And then he's going frontside 14. He almost went frontside 1620.
Oh.
Think about that. He almost over-rotated a 1440. It is unbelievable. I mean, I've been in the snowboard industry, reporting on snowboarding for almost 10 years now. And I never, ever thought I would say some of the words that I say every time I do a broadcast.
Well, we heard you and Jack earlier on in the webcast talking about how things have changed, how now the 1080 is the new 720, the 1260 is the new 900. It's just ridiculous.
And it's riders like Jack, who we have up there interviewing the riders. He was one of the first guys I ever saw do a 1260 in the half pipe. This
Amazing.
was years ago.
There you go.
So it's pretty incredible to see how far it's come. And now to watch a kid like Mons Roysland at 18 years old, our youngest competitor here in the finals. He's tied with Yuki Kodono. It really is incredible. So that will not shake up the top 3. It will remain Mark McMorris, the golden boy, in first place, Yuki Kodono, the threat from Japan, in second, and the underdog from America, Tyler Nicholson, in third.
Well, if you saw this boy's first run, then you will be sitting up to attention just like I am in the commentary booth here. Yuki Kodono from Japan, put down, that was gorgeous. That was supermodel gorgeous. Top rail there, phenomenal. Oh! He did not mean to do that. That was the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
He absolutely did not mean to do that. Yuki Kodono is putting down a run right now that is just off the cuff. He's gone rogue, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, he's gone too big on that second jump.
Lord, Yuki Kodono slipped off the pyramid rail and still somehow kept it in control and landed on his feet, Tim.
Oh my goodness, he is a cat dressed in human skin.
That
without a shadow of a doubt.
Unbelievable. Look at, he's in control here. Switch backside 270 on.
He locks that in nice.
270 out, back to regular. And then he keeps it nice and simple with a lip slide, riding away switch. And now this I have never seen in my life. Cab 270 on. He fully, absolutely slips off the rail on his toe edge.
Perfect misty flip out.
Thankfully, they gave him an 8.3 out of 10 for that.
Yeah.
That was, I've never seen anything like that.
Switch backside 1260, stomped. Coming in super fast, needed a bit more of a bigger speed check.
Well, that was crazy, dude. Yeah, that was crazy, Yuki.
Yuki Kodono. Well, I think he's just used up one of his lives, I'd say that.
I think so. He's got about 8 left.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Well, he won't be improving. He's still in second place.
And Mark McMorris is wiping the sweat from his eyebrow right now. He is relieved. So Yuki Kodono will stay in second place with a first run score of 79.4. The next rider we are going to see drop in from Lake Winola, Michigan, Eric Boschman. We are live from Vail, Colorado. The Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships presented by Mini. What a show it's been. We're halfway through the finals now.
Well, I'm not sure who told the riders, but the script has been ripped up and thrown straight out of the car window at 120 miles an hour. That's illegal, by the way, because you're only allowed to drive 70 miles an hour. What have we witnessed in these first couple of runs? McMorris putting on a masterclass. We've seen Sven Thorgren throw down one of the greatest grabbed tricks I've ever seen in my life. Yuki Kodono managing, he's got magnets in his feet. It's like his hands are allergic to the snow.
It's
what are we witnessing here?
And here we got Tyler Nicholson in third place right now.
Yeah.
That is a surprise. Here is Yuki Kodono on his last run. If in case you went to the bathroom and missed it, do not leave the couch or the computer. Check this out. 270 on, he slips out and somehow has the wherewithal to get back to his feet and make it look like a trick.
The thing worth noting, these riders have their tricks planned out. Moms and dads, it might just look like they're going for it and attempting it, but they know what tricks they're going to do. And the one thing snowboarders don't do is they don't switch their stance between jumps. So if they land with their right foot forward, they will stay right foot forward to the next obstacle. They won't switch it around. I'm not sure whether he meant to do that 450 out. Maybe he did, in which case he would have had to think, right, oh no, I'm going now switch. What can I do here? I know, I'll just do a switch 1260.
I will never get sick of watching. This could be a viral video by the end of this event.
Well, it
could get a lot of hits online. This is unreal.
If you are watching on Apple TV, then you can actually take this run out and you can share it to your friends once we're finished broadcasting a little bit later on. Jack, up to you at the top, my friend. I think you with Tyler Nicholson. What on earth did you make of the cat there? That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
All right, we are here with Tyler Nicholson. Tyler, would you say that was the best run you've ever landed in your entire life?
Yes, for sure. That's just been a dream run of mine for like a year or two now. And it's just a little sloppy, so hopefully this third run will sort it out, clean it up, and put her down.
And right now you're in third place at the US Open. How does that feel?
It's pretty wicked. I mean, I've watched this contest for my whole life growing up, and it doesn't really seem real.
Well, congratulations. I know the feeling. It must be nice. Good luck on run number 3. Put it down, clean it up, send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Well, being treated to an absolute incredible slopestyle finals. It is worth noting tomorrow we have the halfpipe, men's and women's. Promises to be just as good if the semi-finals were anything to go by. But let's bring it to the now.
You know, after what we saw in semifinals, I know people were expecting more, but I was a little skeptical. I thought all the riders put out the best tricks that they had. They were riding at the highest level I've ever seen in the contest, and they were still holding other tricks in their back pocket for the finals. I'm almost at a loss for words, which that's kind of tough when we're getting paid to announce.
I know, yeah, when it's our job to speak. Sorry, everyone at Burton, for hiring us. Do you know what's really hard? It's hard to sit here as a fan of the sport, and to watch this and to think, right, I've got to be non-biased here. I've got to try and give a real non-opinionated view on it, but it's just phenomenal what we're seeing. Truly epic stuff. Wherever you may be in the world, it might be the middle of the night for you. Maybe you're kicking back with a beer in the afternoon. Maybe you're just waking up to a cup of tea. And there's the female champion from earlier on.
That is Jamie Anderson and live announcer Henry Jackson having some fun down there. Jamie today, earlier this morning, became back-to-back US Open slopestyle champion. She took it here in Vail in 2014, and she took the win today in 2015, something that our current leader, Mark McMorris, is trying to do, but not if this kid has anything to say about it.
Well, currently sitting there in 4th position.
And I'll be honest, Eric Boschman has to put down the best run he has ever landed right now, and I think he knows that better than anybody.
He has to put down the best run that he's never landed before.
That's true, and he did last run.
Yeah, he did.
Because that's the first time he'd ever tried a 14.
Oh,
front
locking
side,
it in.
1080, landing so deep in that landing.
Big 12. Are we going to see the cab 14 again from him? Yes.
He's going for it.
Oh, but
Eric
he wanted,
Boschman, wow.
he wanted to clean it up. He almost overcooks it. He's left it in the oven just a little bit too long there.
Now here's the question. I don't know if that's going to help his score. I don't know if that's going to improve his first run score of 71.7 because that last jump was a little sloppy. If you're Eric Boschman and your run doesn't improve, do you just turn that cab 1440 into a cab 1620? Do you just do what Sage Kotzenberg did at the Olympics and just say, you know what? I'm going to try something I've never landed in my life.
Well, he'd never landed the cab 14 until now, and he is getting the rotation comfortably. He's
and if you watch the replay of that last jump, he almost goes to 1620. He just needs a little bit more airtime, a little more speed off that jump. But there's the front side 1080. And to think that that's getting a 6.9 out of 10 in 2015 is unbelievable.
It's also worth noting he's really locking those grabs, really holding on during the spin. That's what the judges will be looking for. Control, flow, overall impression, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that cab 1440 hurt him.
Yeah, there we go.
58.3 is not going to improve, so he'll be looking to his 3rd and final run.
All right.
I think if you're Eric Boschman, you go cab 16.
You push the chips to the middle.
I think you have to. Why not learn 2 new tricks in the US Open slopestyle finals? Why not? You learned one, go for 2.
No
Sage
big deal.
did it at the Olympics. There you're looking at Jake Burton and
There's
his
the
wife,
boss.
Donna Carpenter, the founder of Burton Snowboards, one of the most influential human beings in the history of our sport. We have so much to thank that guy for.
He tipped me a bottle of wine once.
Really?
Actually here when I was working up at Eagle's Nest in Vail Mountain.
I hear he's an incredible guy. Incredible guy.
Thanks for the wine, Jake. Well, thanks for having me here to present this. I'm absolutely blown away. I'm honoured. Seppi Smits then coming out of Belgium. The Belgian spinning top. This boy creates his own gravitational force when he spins. Never really kept up with the Joneses with regards to the doubles and the triple corks. He has learnt them now, though, and we are starting to see them from him.
He's got 1 triple cork in his bag, and I think he's going to have to toss it out right now. It's a backside 1440 triple cork, but that'll be it. Seppi Smits failing to put it down on run 2. He just isn't having a very good day right now, Tim.
No, he's not being able to stop that rotation, kill that inertia. Here's the switch method. Woo-hoo! Tried to kick his board off in midair.
This isn't skateboarding, Seppi. You can't run it out.
Can't get rid of it.
You're strapped into that thing, buddy. All right, so backside 270 on, 270 out. And now the pressure is on for Seppi Smits. His father's a commercial airline pilot.
Really?
He is a commercial airline pilot. Yeah. Switch board slide, 270 out. Switch backside, 1260. Look at him spotting that landing. And again, the exact same jump, exact same trick. He cannot slow his upper body down. What you're gonna wanna do when you're riding out, you wanna dig one of your edges in, either heel side or toe side. If you're spinning in that direction, you're gonna wanna get on your toes, and that will slow your upper body and stop you from spinning.
Yeah, kill that inertia, stop that spinning, and it's going to be Seppi Smits relying on his 3rd and final run if he wants to take home glory here in Vail, Colorado. As all eyes go back to the top, Nicholas Mattsson coming out of Sweden.
Now this kid is a wild card. He's one of those kids where if he can land the run that he wants to land, it's gonna be one of the most explosive, unbelievable runs you've ever seen. Switch frontside 360 onto that first rail. Gap out to switch front board slide. That was scoring the highest on that feature after run 1. The judges really like that trick.
Now he struggled with this all day. It's the double corked. Yes, he's locked it in. Come on, Nicholas Matson.
This kid is the dark horse, and he looks to be on fire. Backside 1080 from Nicholas Matson into the frontside 1440. Nicholas Matson putting it down when it counts and spraying down that VIP tent. That's becoming tradition here at the US Open, and I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Unbelievable.
What a run. Well, we could see potential podium upset here. I would like to think. Gap to switch front board. He currently holds the highest score on that feature as it is.
And right now, if I'm Tyler Nicholson in third place, maybe even Yuki Kodono in second place, I'm biting my fingernails up in the start gate because that run was incredible. Look at how he opened his body on that cab double cork 900 to slow his rotation. It's incredible that how much air awareness these guys have when they're going 35, 40 miles an hour and launching 30 feet in the air and 80 feet in distance.
Absolutely insane skills on display without a shadow of a doubt. That front side 1440. So a 45.9, that's a really high trick score. It's the third highest trick score of the day that we've seen. 75.3. So it puts him into fourth position behind Tyler Nicholson, and he's going to be thinking, what do I have to do?
Man, it is tough to be a judge, and today is not helping.
No, it is not.
I do not envy those guys down there in the booth.
That is a coat.
That right there is Greg Dockashane, the creative director of all of Burton, answers only to Jake. He is the guy that is driving the fashion aspect of all of Burton's outerwear, everything they do. He's a visionary, that guy.
What a dude. Torstein Horgmo, next to drop, currently 6th. Not a fan of the landings here, as we heard him say to Trisha earlier on.
I wonder if that means that he's going to hold back. I mean, he said they're a little flat to send it. Do you think he'll send it? I think he will. This kid's a fierce competitor.
Hard weight, 270 on that top rail. Oh, he's added another 270 out on that.
Switch board slide, 270 out.
Switch backside, 9, like an alley-oop 900. On that first jump feature, the mini feature.
Oh, look at that front side 1080 nose grab. Not quite double cork, maybe say double dip. And look at that backside 1080 double cork, grabbing Stalefish. That's his rear trailing hand reaching down and grabbing his heel edge. Now, a lot of riders will use their leading hand and they'll grab right behind their front boot on their toe edge because that's the way that you're throwing your shoulders. It's the way momentum's going. To grab Stalefish, that's opposite everything that you've just told your body to do. It's incredible. It's absolutely amazing. So gapping out to the down with a backside 270. And then switch board slide, 270 out. He's a regular footer, so anytime you see him riding with his right foot forward, that's called goofy. That means that is his unnatural stance of riding. So alley-oop, switch backside 900. And here comes a front side double cork 1080. Nose grab. Not a lot of riders grabbing nose because when you spin a double cork, you want to keep your body compact, so you want to grab in between the bindings. Now check this out. Look at that rear hand grabbing his heel edge.
Amazing.
Incredible. Great run from Torstein Horgmo. A little off his game in the rail section from what he usually is.
Yeah.
But still a pretty good score nonetheless. 41.1 is his trick score.
Add that to the overall.
So a 65.5, he will not improve, so Torstein's going to be...
Does not improve. Torstein Horgmo then will have it all to do for run at number 3. It's up to Jack at the top. Jack, how's it going, dude?
But he definitely has it in him.
It's going absolutely wonderful. I just snuck up on some poachers right now. These guys are about to get in between the runs. This looks like Nick Baden right here. We got Gabe Ferguson. What are you guys doing right now?
We're hitting the slope course during the finals.
We're poaching.
What does poaching mean?
Poaching means not caring.
Not caring about what?
Everything.
So they're not going to care about anything, and it looks like they're about to go. Holy cow, here they go. Look at them. Wow, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the secret backdoor entrance, and look at them go. They are off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is high entertainment right here, and this is kind of where the US Open became extra famous, when all of a sudden everyone would drop in and start poaching. And that's what snowboarders are. They're renegades, they're rebels, and they like to do rebellious things, like during the contest, drop in and show their stuff to the world. And there they go. That was one of the coolest trains we've seen all day. So mad props to all the poachers. Sending it back down to you guys.
Could we actually be witnessing here the Hollandaise?
We could be.
Jack said yesterday, didn't he? He'd like to see the Hollandaise brought to the poachedness of the event, and I think we could be witnessing the Hollandaise right there. Jack, I don't know.
This is a hallmark to the US Open. I remember I went to my first US Open in 1996 when I was about 13 or 14 years old, and the riders who don't make it into the finals just started dropping in, and the crowd absolutely loved it. That's what poaching is. That's what the US Open is all about. It highlights that counterculture that snowboarding was founded upon.
There we go. Okay, I think we can talk to a champion, a real-life champion. Trisha is with Jamie Anderson down at the bottom. Trisha?
I am indeed with a champion. Jamie, you've won 5 U.S. Opens. What does it mean to win the U.S. Open, especially in 2015 with the level of riding?
Oh my gosh, it's insane. The U.S. Open is such a historic event, and it's been around for so long. To be here and watch the progression is awesome.
And then looking at the men's progression here, we're seeing so many triple cork 1440s, and the level is just going up and up. What are you seeing out here that you're really impressed by?
It's ridiculous. I'm actually liking the creativity more than anything. I like that the guys are doing 9s and some like cap doubles on the creative use of space feature. I think it's so fun to switch it up and let everyone do their own thing.
Yeah, you were one of the only riders in the women's field to hit that quarter pipe feature, and now there's a lot of other people in it. It's like the creativity of that. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I get so sick of the same triple line, so whenever events switch it up or put a wall ride in or a butter pad, I'm always game.
All right, you're game. We're going to send it back to the top.
Bye.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, that was Jamie Anderson, your women's slopestyle champion, taking the win here last year in 2014 in Vail, and then go and repeat back to back. That is such a hard thing to do, but if you're Jamie Anderson, not that hard. There is the rider tent. It is electric. You see Yuki Kodono on the far left right there. That kid currently sitting in second place with a score of 79.4. He put down such an incredible run. See Eric Boschman up there. See Tyler Nicholson. It has been quite a show. We are just about to drop our final 3 riders in run 2 of men's slopestyle finals. What do you say, Tim?
Well, I'm just really looking forward to run 3 because I just don't think that we've seen it all yet, like we say. Starley Sandbeck next to drop. Let's meet the man behind the goggles.
I'm Starley Sandbeck. I'm 21 years old from Rykkinn, Norway. US Open is such a legendary event, you know, there's so much history that went down throughout all the years, you know, and it's always one of the best contests of the year, the contest with the most prize money and the best riders, you know, so the levels always gets good and the course is good.
Well, I've said it before, but it's a set of eyes that could help bread rise. What a stare that boy has. Goodness gracious, don't look into his eyes too deeply. You get lost in there. Starley Sandbeck then, and this is a guy that's used to winning. He's just punched the floor there.
Yeah.
He fell twice on his first run.
He's currently in 9th place. I don't know if I've ever seen Starley in 9th going into the second run of a 3-run final, but I don't know if that's going to hold up. Starley is putting it together, and this kid is so determined. Switch board slide underflip. off the cannon pyramid rail. And there it is, the double crippler going absolutely gigantic. One thing about this kid's riding, he has so much pop. And there's his answer to Mark McMorris. A backside triple cork, 1440. And he's going for that frontside 1260 hand drags.
Oh my goodness!
Ståle Sandbæk just answered back to Mark McMorris, but could not hold it together on that third and final jump.
Oh my goodness gracious!
That is where, here's something that we should talk about. Ståle Sandbæk is doing the same trick as Mark McMorris, the backside triple cork 1440. He's doing it on the second jump rather than the third. The judges will see that. It's a harder trick, and if he falls on that, his run is over. So they will reward him for that, I believe.
Double crippler, sending a huge flip, opens up early in order to kill the rotation, puts it down perfectly into the penultimate jump. Here is that triple 14.
Look at his head.
Goodness.
He's throwing his head 3 separate times to continue his body movement. It's unbelievable. It's such an athletic feat.
And the front side 12, the landing just seemed to creep up on him. It's like he wasn't expecting it.
Look at all those trick scores, and then the front side 1260.
With a full. My goodness, I think that would have been first place. How is he going to handle that pressure now?
You know, Ståle rides very well under pressure. He's been doing this for a long time. His first year, Burton Global Open Series event was the European Open. He used to be the forerunner, the kid who would run through before all the riders just to kind of put on a show. He was maybe 10, 11 years old. So he's been doing this for a very long time. Now here is Sven Thorgren, currently sitting in 8th place. Another surprise, Sven falling on his first run. But keep an eye out for this kid and where he grabs his snowboard. That's what you have to keep in mind when a lot of these tricks do look the same, but look at that right there, grabbing roast beef through the legs, heel edge, also grabbing his nose at the same time.
This is an absolute masterclass. Get out your snowboard dictionaries, flick to the word style, and there will be a picture of this man. Can he? Yes, he can! Just holds it! That was insane!
Look at the crowd, they love it. That's called drifting. He drifted as he spun backside from left to right, and that is a wide jump. That is not a skinny jump by any means. So he was flying. I think he went a little farther than he wanted to, but he held on to it perfectly. Got a little 50-50 on the little corner of the landing there. I wonder if that'll count as a rail trick.
Oh my goodness. I really like this. He's got the switchboard slide, the 270 out, grabs, little poke there for style. And now into this first of 3 jumps, he throws this nose grab roast beef. So hard to keep that spin going whilst having your arms locked down between your legs.
9.4 out of 10. And that right there, frontside double cork 1080, is the lowest scoring jump trick that he's gonna have.
Backside 1440, 4 full rotations. Stand up in your living rooms right now and spin around 4 times, and he is treading the line of the toe edge catch.
Wow.
48.6.
Huge.
That might be the highest tricks. No, it isn't. It isn't. It's the second. Overall, whoa, 76.8.
Wow.
Wow.
And he's gonna bump up to 4th place. I think these judges are officially sending a little bit of a message to these riders.
They want to see it absolutely perfect, don't they?
They do. They absolutely do. So Sven Thorgren got to be happy sitting in 4th place right now, but this guy who's sitting in 1st just breathed a huge sigh of relief. I can guarantee you that. But here's the thing about Mark McMorris. He put down a pretty stock run for him, and he came in with an 86.85, the only rider to be in the 80s. However, if anyone puts down a run that's, say, 86.86 or higher, Mark has 2 more runs he can put down to answer back. So switch hard way, 270 on. Front side, 270 on the second rail. Front side board slide, 450 out. Now Mark coming in switch front side, double cork 900. Looks like he's just trying to clean up the same run that he was putting down. And there's the front side triple Unbelievable! Front side triple cork 1080 for Mark McMorris. Will he go back to back triple corks? He has done it! Mark McMorris back to back triple corks, and that was one of the runs I was talking about. He proved me wrong. He wasn't just trying to clean up his first run. He just, maybe he just put the nail in the coffin for the rest of the field.
Yeah, I think that is exactly what we've just seen there. He's taken the bar. He's not raised the bar. He's dipped it in molten steel and melted it down and sent it packing. That is going to be so hard to catch. The rails, if you want to pick it apart, you'd say not the cleanest there. The frontside 270. I mean, I'm looking for mistakes here. There
It's
aren't
so
really
hard
any.
to.
Comes
It's
off a
so
little
hard to.
early there. But this, the double 900 here, I really like this. He gets it absolutely stock, and if you watch when he lands, he just lands it, and he's just straight into the next jump. No turns whatsoever.
And now watch this. Not many riders have this trick. Mark is one of the only riders in the world who can do a frontside triple cork 1440. A little bit of a hand drag, but by no means should that take away from his score. Look at that. 4 full rotations, 3 full flips, and here comes the other triple cork. Back-to-back triple corks. Tim, did you ever think snowboarding would get to that? Did you ever think that that terminology would even be said?
Run, you know, two tricks, a run containing 2 triples, 2 1440s. It's as loose as a village golf bag. It's just ridiculous what we're seeing.
All right, here we go.
Scores-wise, what has he done?
Here in run
Wow.
number 2.
Unbelievable. Mark McMorris, the best slopestyle rider of his generation, without a doubt. So dominant. Look at those trick scores. 3 scores in the 9s.
Oh my goodness. 52 flat for the trick. Overall, 35.8. 87.8. He does improve. Perhaps those hand drags punishing him just a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's in first place going into the 3rd run. And you've got to say, he now has the carte blanche. He will go last in this final run now, and he can let the rest of the field try and beat him.
Absolutely.
Right, it's down to Trisha.
All right, Mark McMorris, last run you had only landed 1 triple cork, and now you've done 2 in this next run. Like, what is up?
Yeah, I just had to try something else, you know, and if Stale in them lands, at least I have that under my belt where I tried the front side, and I didn't think I was going to land. I just needed to get the first one out of the way, so to land's icing on the cake.
All right, well, more icing on the cake for run 3?
Yeah, I hope so, for sure.
All right, thanks, Mark.
More icing on the cake. Is there any icing? Where does he live? What kind of bakery is he in?
Absolutely unbelievable. I'm really having a hard time processing what we're seeing, but the best is yet to come. Run 3 is when it really gets heated. You have riders like Yuki Kadono, Sven Thorgren, Nicholas Mattsson, Torstein Horgmo, more specifically and most importantly, Stale Sandbeck are capable of taking Mark out of that top spot, but today no one can do it. That said, Stale has not landed the run that he wants to, and if he does, he is capable of breaking into the 90s, something that not even Mark McMorris has done today here in finals.
Well, we're seeing those hardway spins on feature 1 coming out. Top dog here. Torstein with that hardway 270 on, but he just locks it on and he kills the rotation and comes out to regular. Super nice. Feature 2.
Here on feature 2, we got Nicholas Mattsson, the young Swede, gapping out, landing in a switch frontside board slide. It's on the flat down bar, so he's gapping the flat part, landing on the down. There is the consequence, Tim, of that knuckle, so it makes it much more technical of a rail trick.
Feature number 3, choice of options. The cannon rail in the middle seems to be the option of well, choice, but Yuki Kodono with that cab 270 450 out as loose as a wizard's sleeve. I mean, that was just ridiculous. We don't know in the booth. If I see him later, I'm going to have to ask him if he meant that, but it was just phenomenal.
I don't know if he'll be able to tell you. His English isn't quite that good yet, so we may never know, Tim. We really may never know. On feature 4, that is the mini feature, the jump that can be hit straight on or from the sides. It is Sven Thorgren going straight on. First and second run, scoring a 9.4, cab 1260, nose grab and roast beef grab. Those are simultaneous grabs, not at 2 separate times in the air.
The penultimate jump here in Vail, Colorado on the US Open slopestyle course. Feature 5, Stale Sandbach, the backside triple cork 14. Both of them that he's done have been absolutely phenomenal.
And then looking third, Mark McMorris answering back with that front side triple cork 1440. On his first run, that was a double cork for Mark. Once Stale busted out the triple cork, Mark said, hey bud, I got those too.
Yeah.
Front side.
And then into the final jump down here in front of the crowd. The top 2 belong to Mark McMorris, the backside triple corked 1440.
Okay, so just judging by that graphic right there, you have to do a 1440 on the last jump.
Well, they've all done it. They've all done 14s.
It's all 1440s. The difference is, it seems that the judges are scoring those triple corks a little higher than the flat spins.
Well, once we finished the broadcast here, if you guys get yourselves to redbull.tv, you can actually snip out your favorite riders' runs. Perhaps the winner isn't your favorite rider. You can snip out his run and you can share it to your friends. Now it's up to Jack at the top, who I believe has got a man that's very good looking. It's Sven Thorgren.
That's right, he is very good looking, and I gotta say, that was by far the highlight of the entire US Open for me, watching you land that last hit and then just make it down the edge of the landing. How was that?
It was nice. I saw a little bit of powder, but yeah, kind of sketchy though.
Yeah, a little bit sketchy, but it made for great TV. And I gotta say, you're going in, you got one more run. What are you thinking to try to bump onto that podium?
I'm probably gonna skip that 50-50 on the edge there and try to get that one clean. And I don't know, just try to clean up my run, maybe put some extra spice on it. I don't know.
Hot sauce.
Yeah, a little hot sauce.
All right, well, good luck. I know you got it. Sending it back down to you guys. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.
What a good dude, Sven Thorgren. Amazing stuff. Well, the start list, what happens now is they go in reverse order. So the man currently sitting in 10th position will be first. Seppi Smits, Mons Roysland, Stale Sandbach. 8th. Does he even know what 8th is? I don't think he even knows what that is.
And that's a scary position to be in, because if you drop maybe third to last, second to last, something like that, then you can kind of surprise Mark McMorris, who you want to beat. Now he's in 8th place. Mark has about 15-20 minutes till he drops after Stale. He can answer back. But this kid is definitely a dark horse. He could be a surprise, make a surprise podium appearance. This is Seppi Smits. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final run of men's slopestyle at the Burton US Open in Vail, Colorado. Seppi Smits knows he has to put down a run that is top 3 worthy.
It is all about look at the steez, lovely style, just keep it nice and compact through there. He struggled with his 1260 and he struggled again.
That's 3 runs in a row for Seppi Smits. And look at how much speed he has sliding on his bottom. He almost hit the second jump on his butt. But Seppi Smits obviously frustrated. Unfortunately, that is part of competitive snowboarding. Some days you're really on it. Some days you just can't quite put it together. Unfortunately for the rest of the field, it looks like today is one of those days that Mark McMorris is definitely on it. He's still sitting in first place. So Seppi Smits, a great showing from him. And you know what? 10th place at the US Open, I'd take it.
Man, not to be sniffed at. Absolutely. Into this bottom jump. Go for that switch method that we've seen from him.
And now think about this, when you see him try that switch method, look at all the stuff he's been doing, okay? Some of the most athletic stuff that you've ever seen on a snowboard, yet he struggles with a switch method. That really does show you how hard it is to hit a jump switch and not spin and just stay straight in the air. More specifically, to do a method.
Here's that switch backside 1260. He struggled with this all day, and he's going to have to take that one back to the drawing board, I think.
Went sideways.
And he will take the
one thing that
aeroplane of